I guess you're gonna make me cry. Dorothy Pauline Estridge.
Estridge.
When you were growing up, who was your best friend?
My sister, Thelma.
The stories that she's told us is she had a very rough childhood, from being poor to living on the run and in the woods and
living in boxes, and it was a really bad childhood.
Played in the woods and built houses out of moss and played with bones and stuff. We really did.
What was your mother's name?
Leela Fields.
And your father's?
Elmer Fields.
Childhood.
I remember her telling me her brothers used to soak the tracks next to their house so the train would slow down. Her brothers would jump on it and throw coal off to heat their houses when they were little. They didn't have shoes.
I think that's why she always tried so hard to
give us
make
everything.
sure that we had so much.
She said that used to have, back then, flour sacks that had flowers on it, and they would use those to make dresses, and they had one pair of combat boots. They would share them, and she'd go to school without shoes on.
No lunches.
No lunches.
I think so. I think when she married him, that's one of the things that made her get married so young, was to get out of that life. She said she didn't even have her own underwear when they got married. On their wedding night, she was wearing a pair of his underwear.
Where were you born at?
Jackson County, Kentucky.
When you were growing up, who was your best friend?
Dallas McGee.
What was your mother's name?
Pearl Estridge.
What was your father's name? Your father's name?
Clay Estridge.
Dad doesn't talk much about his childhood.
No.
I think it was a lot of work in the fields, working the farms.
He's a hard worker.
I heard things about when he was teenager, early like that, but not growing up like Mom.
Do you remember your first job?
Cleaning houses.
And what'd you do, cleaning houses?
Just cleaned houses.
Remember how much you made?
50 cents an hour.
General Motors.
And how long did you work there?
31 years.
Do you remember what you were making when you first started? Do you remember how much you were making when you first started?
$1.75 an hour.
When you were little, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I never thought about it. Never did.
Oh, I didn't. I just worked auto workers.
Yep. What's your husband's name?
Grant.
How did you guys meet?
We lived next door to each other in Ohio, in Hamilton.
We lived next door to each other.
What was your first impression of her?
I can't remember.
A long time ago?
But I got to know him. We just hung out together, and then he used to come and pick me up at school and all that. I thought it was neat.
And how old was he when you guys met?
22, I believe.
How old were you?
15.
Do you remember your first date?
Yeah, probably.
Where'd you go?
Movies.
Do you remember if you paid?
Probably about 25 cents.
He's the only date I ever had.
Do you remember what you guys did on your first date?
Went to Frisch's.
Did he pay?
He paid.
Do you remember when you guys had your first kiss?
Lord, no, that's been so long ago. Who'd remember that?
Oh, I don't know. It's been so long.
Do you remember the first time saying "I love you"?
No.
Do you remember if it was you or her that said it first?
That's been 50-something years ago, 60.
Sure don't.
Do you remember if he said it first or you did?
I don't even know if he's even said or not.
How did he propose?
I think he just asked me to marry him, then he went and got this little tiny ring.
And you said yes, I assume?
Yeah, of course.
How did you propose?
Just asked her if she married me.
When did you know that she was the one?
We just knew because he's the only one I ever did have.
Describe him as if you were telling someone who has never met him.
Well, let me see. Back when we first met, he was real quiet. Wouldn't do much, wouldn't talk to nobody. Then we got to know everybody. We'd go to Kentucky and he would just sit like a little, he'd watch TV all the time. And now he talks to everybody, he won't shut up. But he's a good man though, he's a good man.
Look out.
You've been married for 60 years. How would you summarize all those years together?
Some good and some bad. Like everybody else.
Yep.
There's been a lot of good and a lot of bad. First years, some good and some bad, because I left him a few times. But he always come back and got me.
If you could describe him in one word, what would it be?
One word. In his own way, he can be lovable. He really can.
Bossy.
What do you remember about the day that you guys got married?
Well, we went to this Justice of the Peace, and they were watching, let's see, what was the name of that movie? I can't remember, it's been so long ago, but he was watching TV, we went in, that guy turned the TV off, and we just stood there and got married.
And what did you guys do afterwards?
We would come home and he went to work.
What do you remember about the day you got married? Where'd you guys go?
Well, we got married up at 5 Points, you know where that is? At the Justice of Peace.
What'd you do afterwards?
I went to work.
That's what Grandma said.
We were supposed to meet on the weekend, and the license or something didn't come through, and we had to wait, I guess, Monday, and I had to work.
So you went to work afterwards.
You didn't miss work back then even to get married.
Right. What's some of your happiest memories together?
I don't know, having you kids, them kids again.
Living here.
Peace.
Peace, yeah. This is the happiest time we've ever had in our life, living right here.
Do you remember buying your first house?
Yep.
Where was it?
It's on Walnut Street.
Were you excited to have your own house with him?
Oh, yeah. It was nice, I thought.
How do you think he's changed you if you had never met him?
Changed? I don't know. I've never known nothing else but him, being with him, so I don't know how he would explain how he changed me.
How do you think your life would have went if you had never met him?
Probably been rough, because we had a hard life. We really did.
When did you decide you were ready to have a family?
When we got married.
How many kids do you have?
5.
Who was your first one?
Judy.
What?
Well, I didn't really decide that. It just happened.
And who Who was your first kid?
Judy.
Miranda Sue Phillips. My name.
Judy Lynn Cooper.
Gregory Allen Estridge.
I was named after some stupid mermaid that my mom watched in a cartoon when she was little. Everybody, all the kids have normal names. Greg, Judy, Annette, Carl, and then there's Miranda. Are you named
She
after
just
him?
liked my name.
The milkman.
The first that I remember was on Walnut Street in Hamilton, but I think that I lived on Long Street in Hamilton when I brought home from the hospital.
I was born in Hamilton.
What?
Long Street.
E Street.
What was life like when you were younger?
I think we had a really good childhood. Mom and Dad always made sure that we had everything that we needed. And we might not have had everything, but we didn't know we didn't have everything. They always made sure that we had everything that we needed.
Come on now.
Yeah. Mom's always saying she wished she could have gave us a lot more, but we were fine. I told her, like she said, we never knew what we were missing because we were always happy with what we got. We didn't get much, but
We always had vacations.
We were happy.
They always made
Yeah.
sure we went on vacation every year.
yeah, they were always good to us.
I had more than them.
Yes, he did.
Because most of them, they were all gone. It was me and Miranda.
Oh, I know, because I
And then I was by myself for 7-8 years.
Well, I know she said Craig. Craig was the ugliest baby she'd ever seen. And that he was an accident.
I think we were all accidents. She used to say that Dad could hang his underwear on the bedpost and she'd get pregnant.
I'm sure she was playing with you. She was what, 14?
She was 16 when she had Judy.
Yeah. We feel like we're sisters instead of
She was
mother and
so young.
daughter,
We
yeah.
grew up with,
Yeah.
You know, we grew up together.
In what ways did your mother show she loved you?
Our parents didn't say, I guess when we were growing up, it was never, you never said I love you, but we never ever
didn't
doubted.
feel like it, yeah.
Right. First time she ever told me she loved me was when I got married.
When one of the things that I remember with Dad is he had never said he loved me until me and Tim were leaving to go. When Tim joined the Army and we were leaving, that was the first time my dad told me he loved me. And I was 18 and married.
He still never told me.
Yeah.
He's still,
He's just quiet about things like that, you
when we
know.
leave their house, he's like his dad. When we would leave my grandpa and grandma's house, Grandpa would always leave, so he didn't have to tell us goodbye. Well, Dad kind of stays back and doesn't say much when we leave, and I think he's kind of the same way. He doesn't want to show his emotions.
I know when I went there last time, I just walked in the room and he saw it was me and he just kind of just grabs your arm or something like that, but he just don't say it. But we all know he loves
Yeah,
us.
we never ever doubted that they loved
Yeah.
us.
In what ways did your mother show that she loved your father?
She waits on him all the
Yeah,
time.
She does
Mom.
everything in the world for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could never doubt that she loves him. She gripes about him and complains about him all the time, but if he's sick or hurt or whatever, you can always tell she's worried and
Yeah.
shows how much she cares for him.
She wouldn't know what to do without him.
Yeah. Neither one of them would.
In what ways did your father show he loved your mother?
Putting up with her. Her sassing and yelling at him.
Bossiness, and
They yelled from room to room at each other.
he'll yell in the
Me
room.
and Dennis is kind of getting like that too.
He'll yell from the other room, "Dorothy, what are you doing?" And she'll say the same thing I was doing the last time you asked me.
Or what are you doing, dear?
Where did your family go on vacation when you were younger?
Myrtle Beach, St.
Florida. We went to Colorado. Worst trip.
Worst trip ever.
Explain.
That's where we went to Colorado, and Dad was very
Cheap.
frugal.
We stayed at a campground, no water, no
electric,
toilet,
no nothing.
$1 a day. I remember that.
Greg he was little. He was real
That's
little.
why
Yeah.
I cried the whole trip, I think.
My dad, Kyle, shit.
Sorry,
Greg
Grandma.
cried the whole trip. There was quicksand by where we
Yeah.
were staying, and we all dared Annette to run across the quicksand. We told her if she'd go really slow, she wouldn't sink. Well, she sunk and lost her shoe. And Mom yelled at us because she lost her shoe.
I remember they took us to a pool down the road. You remember
In
that?
Colorado?
In Colorado. And I was thinking of why they left us there. Because they went back to the campground.
Yeah, we know why they went back to the campground.
Yeah. They were young then.
We always had a good time. We
Yeah.
never, I mean, even though we didn't stay in the fancy hotels, you know, sometimes
Right.
it was camping in a camper while we were in Myrtle Beach or whatever, but
We always had fun.
The Pirate Land.
Pirate Land
Yeah.
At
campground.
Myrtle Beach.
And we like we said, didn't have the best hotels or the best
But we didn't really
restaurants,
know
but
that.
We didn't know
Yeah,
that. We
'cause
didn't
that
know
was
what we
fun
were
for
missing.
us.
Back then,
Yeah.
it was the best time ever, just by getting away.
Yeah.
Our whole, it was always family vacation.
Yeah.
Judy and Dennis and Amy. Tim went with us when
Yeah.
he was a teenager.
Yeah.
It was always all of us. It was never just a couple.
We were always taking someone with us,
It was
yeah.
always.
We stay at Grandma's for 2 weeks
Yeah, we go to
every
Grandma's.
summer.
How many siblings do you have? How many of them are you?
We have 5 kids in the family. And
Miranda was the baby.
no,
Who was-
Greg was the baby. Everybody always made over Greg.
Yeah.
Miranda got everything. She
No.
was the only one that never got whipped.
Greg was the brat. He would cause all the whippings and then blame it all on me because we were the only 2 left in the house because the other 2 were older.
Mom
the other
beat
3
me.
were older.
We got whippings
That's where you got it
too
from.
when we were little.
That's where you got it from.
I didn't have to get whippings because I wasn't bad. You were bad,
Not when I was
See you too.
Who was the favorite child?
Miranda.
Greg.
Tiebreaker.
I wasn't there when they were growing up, really.
Greg was the favorite.
I know we would take him to, me and Mom were going to go to Florida, and Grandma came up to watch you, and he was standing on the back porch looking pitiful, and I told Mom, I said,
Who got
let's
to go
just
to
take
Florida
him.
and
I
who
can't
stayed
stand to leave him
home?
home. He's so cute.
I got to stay home while he got to go to Florida.
Whatever. Whose boyfriend?
And that was the best trip.
Whose boyfriend got to move in when we were teenagers? When we were teenagers.
What moment with your father do you keep closest to your heart?
I'd have to say all the ball games, and he was always there every game. I think he missed one game the whole time I played football, baseball, anything.
Probably when the first time he told me he loved me. It's probably one of the most special times I've had.
I don't know. I mean,
There's just so many.
yeah, Dad was always really for the sports and fishing,
Yeah.
and he would do that with the boys. Then Mom would kind of take care of all the girls.
Right.
She was the one that really was home with us most of the time
She was
because
in,
he worked nights.
She was in the Girl Scouts and the PTA.
Yeah, she was the Mothers Club
And
president, I
Yeah.
think.
What moment do you hold most dearest with your mother?
Everything.
there's
There's
not
a lot.
just one moment. She was always there for us. She always showed how much she cared.
What did you take from your parents' marriage and use it in your marriage?
Never give up.
Yeah.
Stay through the hard times. That even though you hate the person at the time or you want to beat the hell out of
You
them,
still love them.
you still love them and you stay there and you
No,
push
Yeah.
through it.
just
You
perfect.
Don't give
run
up.
away.
Right.
If Mom would have left all the times that she wanted to leave and stay gone, and
Yeah.
we wouldn't be having this party and we wouldn't be celebrating
Yeah.
60 years of marriage.
Because they stuck together.
What was your proudest moment?
When I found out she was going to have a baby, I guess.
Proudest moment. I guess I guess most of the proudest moment was when I started having grandkids. It really was.
Having them use what you taught them to raise their own kids.
Yeah, and it seemed like when I started having grandkids, it seemed like I grew up. I grew up more with the grandkids than I did with having my own kids. I really did.
What are your names?
My name is Stephanie.
My name is Amy.
My name is Kyle.
My mom is Miranda.
My mom is Judy.
My mom is also Miranda.
In what ways did your grandmother show she loved you?
My grandma showed me she loved me in every way possible. There's no specific way. She did it in every way.
A lot of it's just the way she looks at you. You can just tell how much she really loves each and every one of us.
I remember back every Christmas when we were younger, Grandma would always buy everyone presents and stuff, and then always pull me to the side and
me.
slip money into my pocket.
Me too.
What the hell? That's not fair.
She did it to both of us. Grandpa has his own way of showing his love, but there was never any question that he didn't love all of us.
He doesn't really show his affection too much, but you just know.
I remember riding in the Bronco with Nick and Grandpa, and I said a cuss word. I don't remember what it was, but I was sitting in the middle between him and Nick. I just remember Grandpa elbowing me in the face and yelling at me, and then even when he's disciplining you, you could tell
It was a proud moment.
it was because he loved you.
My most memorable moment with both grandparents, probably the summers I spent with them.
My most memorable moment was when they lived in Hamilton. I lost a tooth, and Grandpa pulled me to the side and said, "Your mom told me you lost a tooth. Here's $5. Don't tell your grandma." I walk away, and then Grandma pulls me to the side. "Your mom told me you lost a tooth. Here's $5. Don't tell your grandpa."
My most memorable moment was probably also the summers that I would spend with them. We'd go down to Kentucky, and I'd stay for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. And I remember going on rides with Grandpa in the Bronco down to the lake or up into the mountains to watch him shoot guns. And Grandma cooking every night because she didn't want us to eat fast food, so she would cook something every single night we were there.
So then we'd gain 10 pounds and then come back home.
And go down to...
And Mom would be mad, like, "Ma!"
Go down to Grandma Pearl's and listen to how fat we're getting.
Yep.
Yep.
I definitely keep the fishing trips and the boat trips close to my heart with Grandpa.
With Grandpa, the one thing I keep closest is how happy and excited he was to give me his poker table that he was going to sell so I could use it in my house for my kitchen table. And just seeing how happy he was when he came over to my house for the first time and saw it, he was really excited.
I remember on our way to Judy's one time, there's a bunch of hills when you're driving, and I was probably like 6, and as we were going over the hills, it like makes your stomach drop, and I remember saying, "Oh my gosh, that makes my penis tickle." And as soon as we got to Judy's house, of course he tells everyone in the whole house, so everyone's asking me to repeat it.
Moments with Grandma, cooking with her, picking beans in the garden, and she told me later that I ruined her kettles by trying to help her cut the beans. But that's what we did. That's what we liked to do.
The one thing I'll always remember with Grandma is when they lived in Hamilton, she used to watch me, Nick, and Kyle all the time. And for whatever reason, she decided to be brave and walk all 3 of us by herself down to the movies. And of course, I was the only one behaving.
I didn't behave.
Nick and Kyle never behaved, so I still don't know how she ever was able to do that with the 3 of us.
100%. My most memorable thing with Grandma is every time we'd go down to Kentucky, when we were pulling out of the driveway, watching her stand on the porch, and she would always start crying.
Every time.
Every time.
I guess definitely like young love, it lasts, and you just have to stay through the hard times and knock some sense into your husband sometimes.
The one thing I'll take from their marriage, if and when I ever get married, is that my husband has 2 legs and he can get up and get his own food for himself and do everything himself. Doesn't need me to do it.
Mm-hmm. One thing I'll take from their marriage is forever.
Yeah.
And you never give up. I know Grandma and Grandpa had hard times and good times, and I know no matter what happens in my marriage, I'll always stay faithful and loyal.
Yep.
What would you like to say to Grandma about the 60 years you've spent together?
Thanks for sticking with me that long.
What would you like to say to him about the 60 years you've spent together?
I guess you're going to make me cry. I do love him. You're going to make me cry, Carl. I love him in my own way. And I guess without him, I wouldn't know what life is. I really wouldn't.
If you could give advice to some newly married couples about keeping a healthy and happy relationship, what would it be?
Just talk. And tell each other you love them. I mean, that's something many have never done over life, is we'll not really tell each other you love them. I know we argue, but still.
You guys know you love each other.
Yeah. And one couldn't live without the other, really couldn't. And that's what young kids should do, is tell each other they love them and just to care for each other and not argue. I mean.
Just keep hanging in there, yeah.
Never give up?
Never give up.
I'd like to say congratulations, and if you hadn't got laid, none of us would be here.
I definitely want to say congratulations for making it 60 years. You've raised some crazy kids, some really good kids, and you have even better grandchildren.
And great-grandchildren.
That too.
And great-granddogs.
Yes, can't forget them. But I mean, you're definitely, Grandma, you're one of the hardest women I think any of us know, and we really appreciate you being the rock of this family.
I want to say congratulations, and without you guys meeting 60 years ago, none of us would be here, and I wouldn't have my kids and my nephews and all of my family. And just thanks for staying together and setting an example for us to live by.
Even though Grandpa drives you crazy. That's it.
And probably right now, Grandpa is talking to somebody next to him and you're trying to hear this video at the top of him.
Yes. But we love you guys. Congratulations.
Love you.
Love you.
Happy 60th anniversary.
Congratulations, and for having the 5 best kids there are.
That's right. We love you guys.
We love you, and
Couldn't have better parents.
you gave us a good life, and we very much appreciate everything that you've done for us.
What she said.
Yeah.
What's one thing that you regret in your life?
Regret. Well, really? You want me to tell the truth? Make a net, sit, and drink milk.
Why?
I don't know. She didn't like milk, and I always made her do that. And that's one thing I wish I'd never done.
You would have done that you never did.
Oh.
I can't remember. Oh, I don't know. It's been so long. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a right idea.
You want to do that?
Did this up to your shirt?
Go ahead. Ooh, Kyle.
Will we all do?
I need to get touched up because the cake
Because
is
I
away.
saw part of the other section, I'm like, oh my god, it's cotton
You don't
candy.
know much about Dad's childhood.
That's what everybody said.
All right, you ready?
No.
Oh, we filming?
Is everything straight?
It's been filming. I haven't stopped it.
He's gonna edit it all
I edited it
out.
out. I had to edit it all. I was the youngest, but you were the baby.
Through that shirt.
Really?
All
I
right.
have thick padding right
It's definitely going in the video. It's going in the video 100%.
Dad taught me how to shape the perfect woman. It took me 17 years, but I finally did it. She does it.
Poor Joelle.
Whatever.
When I say it, cook me dinner, it's there.
Yeah.
Get my clothes,
And then
fix
Joelle,
I think that's the other way around.
Joelle gives him the fish hook.
Joelle's probably in the audience right now watching this, smacking Greg.